What's up? What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? What's going on? Pray everybody is well.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Pray everybody is well on tonight, I should say. Pray everybody is well. Let me see who we got up in here. Y'all, welcome to our men talk. The favorite Friday, fellas. We have some guys from the leadership team that'll be on, and we're gonna be discussing a whole bunch of things tonight. All right, we're gonna be discussing a whole bunch of things. All right, let me see who we got in here. Y'all say something. Y'all say something to us so the guys know y'all watching. All right, let me see. We got hey KK, Deja, hey, Ray Jean. Let me see who else we got in here. David, what's up, man? Good evening. What's up, family? All right. Let me see who else. Y'all say something to us in here. Y'all say something. Speak to us. Speak to us. Who we got in here? Ray Jean, come on. Y'all in here. Y'all are in here, y'all. I'm excited about what's about to happen tonight, y'all. Look, as you all know, hey KK, as you all know, we are in our men's. This is our men's favorite Friday for the fellas. All right, y'all. We gonna have a good time tonight. All right, we gonna have a good time tonight. All right, so look, we gonna get going. Hey, y'all. Hey. I see y'all coming in. All right, so look, this is what we about to do. I'm gonna introduce all of the guys that's gonna be on with me tonight. Super duper excited. These guys are amazing guys, y'all. These are amazing guys. All right, so I'm about to intro the guys that'll be with me tonight. All right, so first, let me introduce our host. Hey, Stephen Lee. Let me introduce our host. Our host is actually an advisor for a co-advisor for our awesome favorite Friday ABC movement. Not only that, he's also a part of our ministry team. Our host tonight will be the youth pastor of the Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church in Houston, Texas, Pastor Richard Boone. That's our host for the night, Richard Boone the fourth, y'all. Y'all say what's up to him. Y'all say what's up.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Y'all say what's up. Here we go, y'all. It's getting good already. It's getting good. This Richard Boone the fourth will be our host tonight, y'all. And so, y'all, let me get the rest of the guys in. All right. So, next, let me intro our MD, brother Anthony Bradley. An amazing musician, y'all, an amazing man of God, amazing young man of God, y'all. Y'all welcome Anthony Bradley Jr. to the stage. Our MD, y'all. Come on, this is the MD for Favorite Friday, y'all. This is the person that makes it all happen musically for Favorite Friday. All right, so he's the guy behind the music of Favorite Friday. So if anything go wrong musically, it's on him. All right, all right, cool. All right, we getting the guys in here. All right, let me get in. Our dance lead, brother Terrell Jackson. He's over our dancers. Terrell Jackson is an amazing guy and a very, very gifted guy when it comes to dance, y'all. So y'all welcome TJ in. Is TJ in here? Let me see. I don't see him yet. Okay. All right. So TJ's not here. Okay, perfect. All right. So then let me move on. We have our ministry team lead, Minister Ivan Perkins. Y'all, an amazing business-oriented man, a preacher. Y'all give it up for him, y'all. Give it up for him. I even say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all feeling? What's going on, family?
All right, so we got Ivan. And last but not least, y'all, the man behind all of our graphics for Favorite Friday. He carries our brand very, very well, Mr. Redaniel Arvey, y'all. Let's give it up for him. And let's get him in here. Redaniel, say what's up to the people.
How we doing?
Come on. All right, y'all. So we got everybody in here, y'all. We ain't gonna hold y'all long tonight, y'all, but we gonna be strong tonight. And I want y'all to know that this is all guy talk tonight. So I want to see y'all in the comments, Favorite Friday, fellas. I want to see y'all in the comments. We are gonna have a good time tonight. All right, I'm passing it over to Pastor Richard Boone the fourth, who's our host for tonight. Let's go up, y'all.
What's up, y'all? Can y'all hear me? It was skipping at first. Y'all can hear me? We good?
Yep.
Cool. Let's get into it. So, fellas, I think this is an important conversation, and so I want to know why is it so important for us to talk tonight? Why is it so important for us to chat tonight? So, y'all holler at me. Let's talk.
All right, so whoever, let me see. All right, I'll go first. I kick it off. All right, so I think it's important tonight for us men to talk because I think that more men will understand that it's okay to be vulnerable, to talk as men, and to go through certain things, for all of us to come out and to grow together. I think it's very, very important that we talk because in society, most times in society, it teaches us men that we have to always just be hard and not be able to express how we feel. And so I think it's important tonight that we just chat and just not only learn about each other, but learn and grow as men together.
Okay. Somebody else? That's good.
Okay, I go.
Cool.
I agree with what Carsey said. But yeah, we definitely need to have this conversation. Like he said, some men don't know how to be vulnerable, and then some men don't know how to do things the godly way. Like they think their way, the world way, is the only way. And I feel like us having this conversation is just giving us another avenue to us getting closer to God, because we've been seeing what's been going on in the world, the school shooting, the shooting at the grocery store. So I even put a post up today that right now it's time for us to get closer to God and not drift away. So I feel like this is definitely it's needed now more than ever for men. So
Good. I like that. Somebody else wanna chime in?
I think this conversation is important, and again, just to echo what everybody else already said, we live in a day and time now where we can't really, if we're trying to be vulnerable, or if we even express, how we feel, it's seen as weakness, or it's seen as not the quote unquote manly thing to do. But I think this conversation is important because we're all God fearing men. And we live in a very woman-dominated and oriented society, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I also feel like it's now time for the men to help these women and to help take up some of these mantles and just kind of work together, because there's again strong women who lead every day and who are doing a great job. But now it's time for the men to step up and to help out more so than what what society sees. Not saying it is not happening, but just more than what society sees.
And then I'm gonna be brief.
Okay.
Y'all can hear me, right? Okay, I'm trying my best to be brief. I also, I agree with everything what everyone said, but also because, I see within our peers, it's so hard for men of God to come together, because a lot of us, and I'm gonna say us just to be all inclusive, a lot of us are in competition with each other. And this type of event shows that is not the story for all of us. That some of us can come together and fellowship and talk about God and really be a light in the world in a godly from a godly perspective, and really push each other forward.
Okay. So you mentioned a godly perspective. What impact do you feel the men should have in the community, especially a godly man? When we talk about community, right? We say God, but we do know that one of the ways to serve God is to serve people. So what impact should we have right now into the community? I think Ant mentioned about the school shootings and the grocery store shooting in Buffalo, New York. Where are we? What do we need to do now more than ever in our communities,
I would say we need to show our love. The word says they will know that we are Christians by our love. And love is more than just, something you say, it's an action. And I really do believe that we like, you know, in going back to, you know, what has been happening, you know, these horrible shootings and that have been going on. The church, men, we need to get out here. We need to do what we need to do to try and get and to stop some of these things. If that means getting politically active, that's what we need to do. If that means raising the next generation to maybe not say abstain from guns, but to show them that we really don't need to get a gun. We need to do all of those things, you know, really exhausting all of our options to make the world a better place, if that makes sense.
Okay. Somebody else want to chime in? Community.
I will say, this is just me, freely speaking, as a whole, we need to shift our focus. We glorify a lot of things that don't bring glory to us as a people, us as individuals. We glorify certain lifestyles. We glorify toting guns. We glorify these things, and when we glorify them, the younger generation thinks they're cool, and so on and so forth. So that, and we also need to have open lines of communication. If I offend you, or if I feel some type of way towards you, I need to be able to come and talk to you and sit down with you, man to man, heart to heart, and tell you how I feel. Because when feelings start to fester, things start to boil up, and when you don't talk about how you feel, that's when these issues and these things, these mass shootings and these misunderstandings and these drive-by shootings, things like that start to happen, because we don't have proper reconciliation and proper communication. And also because, again, I feel like we glorify some of the wrong things. We put the bad stuff on display as good, because what we see on, what we see on TV, what we see in the media, what we've seen in music videos, that's always been a part of our culture. So when we take these things, when we glorify those things, now that's seen as the normal. That's like the standard. Everybody wants to, sag their pants. Everybody wants to tote a gun because that's what's seen as cool. And, if you want to own a gun, sure, own a gun. That's totally up to you. But make sure you're doing it legally, and then make sure you kind of, where your stuff is at. Because a lot of these children are getting a hold of their parents' guns because their parents are not being safe, or they're not doing what they need to do, taking care of stuff on their end. So, again, we're glorifying the wrong things. And when we glorify the wrong things, we put our focus on the wrong things. Now our children see us do those things. Some of us like cars because our fathers showed us a love for cars. Some of us like preaching because our parents showed us a love for preaching. So it's music or whatever it may be. It starts at home. So we can get back to shifting the focus in the right direction and stop glorifying some of these worldly things. I think that'd be a huge start.
I wanna. You said something. I think about, we talk about guns, but I think too it starts with our mental health, right? Research says that we have almost 80,000 thoughts a day, and majority of the thoughts are negative. Right? I'm reading this book called Soundtracks, and the writer John Acuff, he talks about changing your playlist, changing your soundtrack. We have a worship soundtrack. We have a workout soundtrack. We have a ratchet soundtrack, right? When we want to listen to rap music, R&B, he says one soundtrack that we all have is negative, a negative soundtrack. It's almost like we like talking down to ourselves. We like thinking negative about ourselves, right? I cannot do it. I don't have what it takes. I don't have the money. I cannot change. I cannot be better. And he said, if we're not careful, we would allow all of the negativity, right, that's in the world to enter our minds, to the point if we don't address it, we will lose our mind. And some people have the mindset, if I'm gonna go out, I'm taking people with me. And I think as men, we have to make sure we build a community together, a real brotherhood, not just if you pledge alpha or some type of fraternity, but we have to stick together. We have to check on one another. I think about superheroes, right? We all want to be Batman, but when is it okay to say I'm just Bruce Wayne? We all want to be Spider-Man, but when is it okay to say I'm just Peter Parker? We all want to be Superman. When is it okay to just say I'm Clark Kent? That's all I have today, right? And I think, you said something, Ivan, we have to make sure that we bond together because we don't really know what each other, what we're facing, right? We can sing, we can preach, we can smile, we can get a haircut, we can look good. But if we don't address what's going on in the mind, we can literally lose it any second. Literally. So I thank you for that, man. That kind of made me think a little bit. Listen, y'all do this video too, man. Y'all share this Facebook comment. Talk to us.
And then I think, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
And then I think another thing that we struggle with is like asking for assistance, right? We don't want to never ask for help. Like we feel like, and there's been times where I felt like, you know, I could take all of these problems on and handle them myself. The bad part was that I really couldn't, right? And it wasn't until I actually talked to somebody, talked to another guy who maybe have went through the same thing I went through. Then those problems, I was like, okay, I had a guide to kind of take me through those problems and different things like that. So I think we'd be scared to ask for assistance. And then when we do ask for the assistance, we'd be scared to fail, you know. And I think a lot of times we take our failures and then we just let it control us. And then that's it. Like I just can't do this no more. And like you were saying, Richard, you like it starts like a mental thing. I was talking to some of my kids earlier today, and I told them, I'm like, man, and on the sagging the pants thing, I asked him, I said, why do you sag your pants? And he was just like, man, everybody in my family do. So it's like for me to come in and tell him to pick up his pants when he got an uncle or a brother or a daddy who do the same thing, he looking at me like, I'm not gonna listen to you. And you trying to tell me to do something that my people do. And so stuff like that, man, I think we just it's a lot, y'all. It's a lot, okay? Because I'm now my mind is racing. But I really, really think that, man, we should just begin to ask for assistance, man, in those areas where we feel like we can't go through or whatever the case may be. I feel like we need to reach out to those guys who are close to us. And yeah, I'll stop because I got a lot of stuff I got to say, but yeah.
That's good. It's good. Somebody else want to chime in? All right. So let's move up. And y'all good? So let me ask you this question. What impact or where would you be? No, let me ask you this way. Do you think you would be the man you are today without God or without your relationship with God? How does God play an impact or a major role into your life or our lives? I don't know if you all heard me because my thing, I think it went out. Did y'all hear me? We good?
Yeah, we heard you.
Cool.
I'll begin, man. I'm charged. I'm super charged. But I know that I would not be the man I am without God. My parents instilled it in me early. I went through situations where I had nobody to lean on. And God was the only person that I can lean on. Even when I went to some of my friends, you know, they kind of left me hanging, you know, and God was literally there every step of the way, even with everything that I was going through, you know. So I feel like I would not be the man I am today without God. And I even go a step further and say, not only without God, but without my dad or my parents in general. Okay, my parents in general. I don't feel like I would be the man I am because I saw what kind of husband my dad was, because I saw what kind of man my dad was, because I saw how my dad treated my mom, because I saw what kind of father my dad was. So I'm able to take those pieces and instill them even in my life now, as I even have a child on the way. I can say, hey, my dad, you know, my dad loved me no matter what, so I can love my son no matter what. And so I feel like without God, like I'd be lost. I'd be lost.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
I'll piggyback off of that. I totally agree. Who would I be without God? In my own experience, you know, God has been, you know, that person I can run to. Let's see. How do I want to put this? You know, and I'm gonna say it like this: I get a lot of questions because a lot of my friends they consider me to be the friend, like, you know, that they couldn't go to talk and to get some advice from, if that makes sense. And they ask, why do I don't worry too much? And I tell them it's because I have this friend named Jesus. You know, I don't have to worry. I know that because I'm in his hands, I can everything's gonna be okay. And if I didn't have that assurance as a man, I don't know what I would be as a man, you know. Like Carsey said, you know, our parents are almost one and the same. Working in the church, instilling the fear of the Lord, that healthy respect of the Lord, you know, into all of their children, and which I'm thankful for. My father, Pastor Arthur, I'm so thankful for it. He showed me what it's like to be a man. But yeah, you know, in society we have this toxic belief that, you know, men should be, you know, all macho, all, you know, we got it by ourselves. And my dad was the first one to show me that it is okay to lean on somebody else. And most times that somebody else was who? That somebody else was Jesus. That somebody else was the Lord. It was that was the person he can lean on. And you know, I don't know what I would be without God.
So you felt like preaching a little bit? That's good, man. That's good. That's good. I agree. I was raised in church. My dad was a pastor. He's a pastor. And you know, sometimes I think about my life and how I wanted to go in the opposite direction of the church because I was raised in church. But of course, God has called me to, you know, preach and to minister, but I don't really know what I would do or who I would be without God in my life. And then like Carson, man, you stated, you know, God allowing different role models. My dad, you know, I had some coaches, a few pastors, friends, you know. I didn't grow up with big brothers, but I do have, you know, an older sister, right? I have cousins. And I just think about, you know, how sometimes my mind races and sometimes I'm anxious and or sometimes I can be full of anger. And if I did not have God in my life, I don't really know what would happen. I've been in situations where it was only God who has literally kept my mind, right? Or held my tongue. And you know, it's rough because now being in church or being a preacher, you know, you have to make sure you set that example. You have to make sure um, you are a positive role model in the community. And I just thank God that, you know, God is in my life. And when I have kids one day, I want to make sure that I let my kids know that God is the God of your generation as well. You know, not just my God, but it's your God too, because the older I get, I realize, you know, I'm going to get myself, or there are going to be some times where only God can literally pull me out. And I'm glad that, you know, I know God now for myself. Before, like, you know, the life challenges really hit, I know that I don't have to go through anything on my own. So, no, I definitely appreciate God as well. Somebody else want to chime in on that one?
I could piggyback on just God just being a God of saying no. I'm a musician, so at the beginning of the stages, I was trying to be that musician where I was doing all these gigs and doing all these different things that I felt like that could get me popular. Um, and I feel like if he gave me those things at that point, I will be somewhere that I'm not supposed to be. And I'm so grateful that he told me no in so many situations, because I know for sure now I wouldn't be able to handle that. And I'm just grateful that he gave me parents that told me no, because I felt like they knew, like you said, your parents instilled that godly those godly things in your life. And that's the same thing for me. My dad, Elder Bradley, he's been instilling things into me, and still now he's still telling me no. Because he knows he knows, like, he's so connected with God now that he knows that he has to tell me no. And I'm just grateful that I don't know where I would be without him.
That's good.
Man, look, my parents used to tell me no all the time, man. When I used to want to go to the juke parties, my parents used to tell me no, and every time they told me no, something happened. So I thank God for my parents for telling me no before I went to the juke party. Thank you, Mom and Daddy. I appreciate y'all.
The juke jam. Somebody else want to chime in before I get to another question? I want to get deeper. Go ahead.
So I'll just say this. Truly don't know where I would be without the Lord. It's hard to like really put into words right now, but it's just like whenever you need somebody to have your back, here comes God. And the funny thing is, like, even when you kind of push him away or like don't necessarily be bothered, God doesn't leave you. So, and not just God, but like y'all said, parents, my dad, Elder Perkins, my mom, and then mentorship too. I feel like that's played a huge part into the man that I am today. Having people who aren't necessarily blood related to me, who can kind of show me a different perspective, who can kind of still help and redirect and get you on the right track. And I feel like I know for a fact that mentors and mentorship is very, very, very crucial to every young man. I feel like every young man, even every young woman, needs a mentor, needs somebody who can kind of put their hand on your shoulder and kind of help push you into your purpose, into your next direction, into the right direction.
That's good. That's good. Superintendent Ivan Perkins. That's good, Doc. One day. Listen, I want to get deeper because we hear the phrase protect Black women, as we should. Here's my question. I want us to be honest. Do we feel protected as well? Do we feel protected? Do you all feel protected?
By Black women or just in general?
Yeah, I was about to say that too.
Well, let's talk about both.
Okay, I'll talk about Black women.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Personally, I do feel protected by Black women, simply because we can talk about any in recent history, starting with Trayvon Martin, who were the first group of people, who was the first demographic that stood up and said this was wrong. Not saying that us men didn't, but Black women consistently have always been the ones protecting us. Not only because, they're our brothers and sisters in Blackness. I'm gonna trademark that. But because they understand, like, this could have been their son, this could have been their brother, their nephew, whomever, and consistently. And we got to give it up to Black women. They are consistently standing up and making sure that we are protected. And in recent history, we can't say as a whole, as a monolith, that we've done the same. I have. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm the first one to stand up for women's issues as a Black man. But I don't see too many of my Black brothers doing that. So I don't know. But now, as a Black man in general in the United States of America, no, I don't feel protected. I got to look over my shoulder wherever I go to make sure someone's not, perceiving what I do wrong, or just as a precautionary measure.
Look, I'm gonna say it like this, Daniel. I agree with everything that you just said. So on one hand, I do feel protected. Now, if we talking like family wise, like my wife, my mom, sisters, cousins, aunts, grandma, everybody. So I do feel protected in that sense. Now, when we talking about like an outside sense, no. Of course, for the obvious reasons, right? For all of the stuff that's going on with like African American men, right? nowadays we can't even go to the store, without, or let alone the gas station, without, keeping our eyes open, or having that concealed to carry, or even having some type of weapon on us, because there's so much of a target on the black man's back today. Of course, as everybody has been seeing in the news, there's a target on our back. That's the reality of it. And there has been a target on our back since way before I was born, since way before probably all of us was born. And so in that sense, no, I don't feel protected. And I'm not even talking on the spiritual sense. I'm just talking about naturally. Like, no, I don't feel us black men are protected. We aren't protected. And I think that, we don't, how do I word this? Matter of fact, come back to me.
So I feel like that we're protected by black women, especially because, like, to piggyback off what Daniel said, they've been at the forefront of every like major social movement that's had something to do with us. Do I feel like we're protected in the world? No, not at all. Look at Tamir Rice, the young man who had a toy gun. They shot and killed him. But Dylan Roof, who could walk into a church, kill people during Bible study, and they take him to Burger King. So do I feel like the world has its arms around us and is shielding and fighting for us? No, I don't. I feel like we kind of have to fend for ourselves no matter where we go, because it's always, we have this stigma or this image that's always being conveyed and put on us. And it's not even just the ones that's in the street. It's the ones who doing right too, who have these issues and these problems that we now have to face because of the color of our skin. But I feel like we're protected by black women? Yeah. From our mothers, our fathers. I mean, our fathers not women, but our mothers, our sisters, all of the people who love us, of course, have our back, and those are our riders. But as far as the world goes, no, sir.
Do you think, because of the stress we face on the outside, do you think it impacts what we do inside of our home?
Man, yeah, because because it's like,
How do we deal with that? If this is
say that portion again.
How do we deal with that?
Say it again, Rich. I ain't hear you.
Mine is skipping over. I was just saying, you said, yeah. I said, well, how do we deal with that?
So, you know what? Say the whole thing again. Say the whole thing again, so I can get my thoughts. Say it one more time.
Well, I was saying, you all said that we don't feel protected, of course, in our circle, but outside we have a target on our back. We don't know if we're going to come home safely, right? We get nervous when we're driving. As a man, I mean, a woman too, but do you think the stress that we deal with on the outside affects what happens on the inside of our home, how we treat people?
Yeah, man, because it's almost like you don't want to make the wrong move and like put your family in danger. It's almost like you gotta be real strategic about what you do nowadays. Like, as opposed to even those who are fathers, like protecting your family, you got to think like, is this move the right move? And if this move is the right move, like, what are the consequences? You know what I'm saying? Like, or if it's the wrong move, what are the consequences? So it's almost like you got to be very strategic about, like, even where you go nowadays. We can't even go to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't even go to school because people are walking into schools, shooting up schools. So it's like, man, like at what point or how strategic should we be to honestly say, like, all right, cool, we probably shouldn't go there. But even in that, people getting shot sitting in the house. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like there is no answer. Like, there is no answer. It's almost like we like I said, we have to be very, very strategic about how we go about living our daily lives. Like, like for instance, like for example, like when we go to different stores, I don't leave my wife in the car.
All right.
Why? Because the things that have happened with women just sitting in cars, I don't want that to happen to my people, right? I don't want that to happen to my wife or my child when he does come, you know. So guess what? When I go in the store, I'm taking my wife and my child in the store with me, you know. So different things like that. So it does affect our household. It does affect our household.
Somebody else want
Um, I agree. You like he said, you do have to be really strategic. Because it's crazy. Like you hear like these are the end times, and it's true. Like everything that's in the Bible is really coming to pass, and it's just like you literally have to have that prayer life with God so He can direct your steps. Because it seems like if you don't, then something like that will happen near home. You know, like, and that's just what it has to be. Because if you don't have those steps, if they're not ordered by the Lord, then what else? Like what else can you do? You know what I'm saying? So I totally agree, Carsey, for sure.
Man, we gotta stay prayed up like never before now. Prayed up and be very strategic about the stuff that we do now. Is the
to? Oh, go
places,
ahead, Ivan. Go ahead.
like is the certain places that we
Thank
go?
you. Say something.
Is there certain places that we even go? Like, is it worth going? Like, you know. So I'm gonna shut up though. Go ahead, Ivan.
Nah, you good, bro. But no, just to piggyback off of that, definitely have to stay strategic, and not only that, but also like we have to be more so cognizant and aware of our surroundings. The church I grew up in, the pastor's wife would like randomly like not even, this is a Christmas song, but necessarily even she didn't even sing it always around Christmas. The song "Do You See What I See?" I remember I was out one night and I was like kind of feeling uneasy, and I was like, hold on, should I be here? Like what's going on? And then I heard like her voice like in my ears clear as day. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? And I was like, oh well, nah, I don't. And like I heard it again. I was like, all right, I need to get up out of here. So you know, we have to be strategic, and also we have to be able to discern what it is that's going on too. And so like having discernment is definitely a key factor because it'll keep you especially when you in those places that you feel uneasy and things like that, in the store or wherever, because honestly, like no place nowadays is like safe. Like there's really no quote unquote safe haven, because stuff is happening everywhere. And it's really sad, honestly, because to piggyback going back to the school shootings, the kids just went back to school. Like I don't think kids have been in school for a year yet. And like the kids just now getting back to a sense of normalcy, the normality, a sense of normalness, and now we got these things happening again.
Yeah. And so, what methods do you all use to block out the noise? Because again, we all agree that we live in this chaotic world, and we have a target on our backs, but yet we still need to thrive. We still need to grind, and sometimes it's hard. So, what methods do you all use to kind of block out the noise, to keep distractions away, so that you can stay focused and do whatever God has created you all to do?
So for me, music is a big one for me. Music allows me to, whether I'm playing it or whether I'm just listening to it. Music allows me to block out all the noise that's going on around. Not only that, my dad always taught me to be observant, no matter where I go. Always keep your eyes open. I don't care if this is a familiar place that I go to every week. I always got my eyes open, and so between music kind of being that piece, and it gives me that sense to just block out the noise, block out everything that's going on, and then just being observant. So being observant and music, those are the two things that I kind of cling to when there's just a lot of noise going on. So
I would jump in. So for me, of course, you know, I work out, you know, I go try to get my cardio in, play my music, literally to block out noise. I read, I have a lot of books. I read, I write, I kind of journal. Um, you know, sometimes I even just talk to my family. You know, I call my siblings, my dad, you know, grandparents, just talk to them. I've been saying, so I just recently I recently got a therapist um to help me deal with trauma, you know. And I know that many people kind of say, well, you don't really need a therapist. You don't, you know, you can just, you got the Lord. But I believe part of talking to God, well, first of all, it's a difference between, in my opinion, talking to God and talking with God. Usually when you talk to somebody, you're doing most of the talking. When you talk with someone, you honor and you care about their opinions as well. And so I believe part of talking with God is talking with a therapist to help you deal with the trauma, help you deal with the noise or the past noise that you have been dealing with, you know, since you were a kid. And so I've recently, just a few days, just to be able to talk out some of the things that I go through deep down on the inside so that I can be a better preacher, a better brother, a better son, right? A great husband one day, a great father one day. And so I think that's some of the methods I use to kind of keep my mind focused so that I can thrive in a world that wants to see us fail. Somebody else? Methods.
Something I try to do, um, it's gonna sound weird, but when things get very chaotic for me, when there's a lot of noise going around, as a graphic designer, one thing I mean, there's always something for me to do. Maybe I need to learn something new or learn a different design technique. And so I'll open Photoshop or Illustrator and I'll take an old flyer and I'll, maybe I learn something new and I'll try and remake it with a fresh touch and see if I can hone my craft. Or if I go to singing, I sing, I write. I wish I could play, but that's not what God gave to me. But thank God I got two brothers who can. Um, I'll sit and I'll talk to God. I'll try to, write a song that'll encourage me um in that moment. And that hopefully in the hopes that it will encourage somebody else down the road. And also I stay prayerful. I don't know why I didn't start with that. Stay prayerful. Talk like you said, Richard, talking with God. Something that I've always seen nothing but success in, seeing what allowing God to encourage me and allow myself to encourage myself in God. So yeah.
Good. I like how you promoted your business. You know that you. I like that. That was smooth. Y'all hit my boy up now. Y'all hit him up if y'all need a flyer. Somebody else want to add on methods.
I would say just trying to stay busy, and not like busy as in like overworked, but as in like busy as in keeping your mind like always doing something. So for me, whether it be I read the Bible a lot more now than I have in the past. So like really getting in touch with that. Um, just whatever it may be. Like Daniel said, I don't play, but I will get on somebody's organ in a minute and completely embarrass myself. But again, just kind of keeping your mind going, like staying active, always doing something. That way you don't kind of have time to settle in yourself or like to settle with the world around you. So I do think staying active and staying busy and like not even just like busy as in like busy, but like productively busy, like accomplishing these things that you set out to do.
Good.
And another thing, honestly, that I like to do is to play basketball. That brings me a lot of peace. I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. That brings me a whole bunch of peace. I don't know why, but it just does. It brings me a whole bunch of peace to just go to the gym and actually play basketball. And I'm talking about full court games. That brings me peace. That
Somebody
reasoning.
beat you in one-on-one. I just can't think who.
Say it again.
Somebody beat you in a one-on-one. I just can't think who it was though.
Yeah, I can't think who it was either.
Nah, man, that's good.
Y'all, me and Richard had a one-on-one, y'all, but he actually cheated.
Come on, man. Like, hey, he's good though. He's good. He would have beat me in the real game. Real game. He would have beat me. I would let him win, but you know. Look, somebody mentioned flaws, or I think you mentioned flaws earlier, or insecurities, I want to say. Let's talk about insecurities. Let's talk about how do we deal with our personal insecurities as a man. How do we deal with that? How do we move past? And if you even want to share some insecurities that you're working on, you can. You don't have to. But how do we move past the insecurities that we face day to day? Yeah, day to day. How do we move past those insecurities?
Man, one thing I know for sure that you can do to move past your insecurities is to literally affirm your own value. Man, a lot of times we be so quick to just put ourselves down, but man, like the moment we affirm our own value, like the moment you feel like, all right, cool, like that's why I think it's important for us guys to like keep ourselves up, right? Keep yourselves up. What does that mean? That means like hygiene, what you wear, haircuts, clothing, like affirming your own value. To me, like that affirms my value. Like for me, I like to dress, and everybody know that. I like to dress, and I like to feel good when I go out. Like that to me affirms my value. I think that, like I said, not only like just keeping yourself up, because the reality of it is like the way you see yourself is how others are going to see you. And if you know for a fact that your value was high, if you know your value was high, now it's a difference in affirming your value and being arrogant and antisocial and different things like that. Three different things. All right. But affirming your value, I think that's a big thing. And that was something that I kind of did, like, even as I was growing up. Affirming my value, said, okay, cool. I'm going to keep myself up. I'm going to go get my hair cut. Because not only do I want to look good for my wife, but I want to look good for myself. I want to feel good, feel good when I go out, different things like that. So that's what I think for me.
Y'all can hear me now. Okay. For me, in all of my insecurities, one thing, God has shown me is that I was getting a lot of those fears, straight from the devil. And it had all those insecurities had nothing basis. A good example is, let's see, as when I became a graphic designer. Let me not say when I became a graphic designer, when I really started to take it seriously. Let's put it like that. I was just, connected with Favor Friday, and there's the single Fire was coming out. My siblings and we had a single coming out at the end of the year, and for our particular project, I wanted it to look good. It needed to look industry ready. And I was talking to God one day. And I was like, God, lead me to the right graphic designer that can design this for us. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes to do all of that. And God was like, it's you. And I was like, what you talking about is me. And the funny part about it was after that, about a week later, Carsey called me about Fire. I got, and in between that one and the one me and my siblings that I did, I think I want to say 3 or 4 different songs, single covers. And I'd gotten some, experience doing them. God built me up. And one, like how Carson was saying, speaking well of yourself, that was something that still is a struggle for me. And God is allowing me to see I gotta talk well. I have to recognize what He has brought to my table, if that makes sense.
Definitely makes sense. That definitely makes sense. I get you, Radani.
I mean, I asked about insecurities because I believe we've learned, or I'm gonna say myself, I talk about myself. I've learned how to navigate, but I've never addressed my insecurities, right? You think about like social media, right? You kind of like what other people may have, or you kind of see, how many views, somebody else may have. And sometimes I would do that, I will wonder like, man, why am I not taking off this way? Or why don't I have this, to the point where I allow my personal insecurities to literally keep me from really allowing God to shape and mold my life and to take me to the places I want to go. I think insecurities can stem from just fear. You mentioned earlier, Carsey, about being afraid to fail, right? Not making it, not being the best person you can be, right? Am I good enough, right? And I feel like no matter how much money we have, how well we may dress, how good we may smell, if we don't deal with some insecurities down on the inside of us, I don't think we can really be who God has created us to be. Because most men, I'm not saying us on here, but I've been to a place where for years I have mastered being somebody else. It's now that I'm comfortable with being myself, comfortable with being who I'm called to be, right? Finding my voice, finding my swag, right? Finding what I like to do. I'm 29, and I kind of worry about the generation under us, because that's all we have, or that's all they look to is social media, right? I'm a youth pastor, and I have, young men who may say, man, I'm not going to school because you don't get paid when you go to school. And when you do go to school and you come out, you don't get the job. And I want these shoes. I'm trying to be like this rapper. I'm trying to be like this actor. And I always say, what do you think God has called you to do, or you to be? And it's like, I don't know, but I just know I need some certain materials, right? And I feel like a lot of men are materialistic, right? We look good on the outside, but we're hurting down on the inside, right? We smile, we look good, we smell good, we got a nice car, but on the inside, we don't know how to deal with our emotions or insecurities, to the point where literally, I told my youth, don't get old and die being somebody you were not supposed to be. Like, it's good to admire people, but you have to, at some point, I think it's easier to be yourself. And we have to, how do we deal though with insecurities? When are we going to say, I'm cool with being me? I mean, I have all the money right now. I may not be where I want to be, but I'm cool with where God has called me to be and to do. How do we get to that point? How do we get to that point? Let's help men on here, even ourselves. Let's talk about how we can get to that point.
All right, so look, I just saw something in the comments. Actually, I saw something in the comments. One of our guys said that one of his insecurity was lack of confidence. If you look up in the comments, you'll see it. And so I think, oh, this is good too. Nobody can beat you being you. That's good, Mom. So I think, oh man, this is about to get good, y'all. This is about to get good. So I think that when it comes to, and Rich, I'm gonna answer your question too. Well, I'll answer your question first, like as far as like dealing with insecurities. As I stated before, I think that affirming your value, and then like I think that when you are a part of certain situations that are like tough situations, I think that builds up your like I don't know what the word is, but yeah, I think that helps deal with the insecurities. Yeah. I got 1,000 thoughts going on right now, but yeah, just being in situations that challenge those insecurities, I should say. I think Tone said in here, Tone said his insecurity was lack of confidence. Tone, I actually, and I don't know if anybody else have dealt with like a lack of confidence at one point, but that was one point that I didn't feel confident. When I first started playing organ, when I first started playing keys, I did not feel confident in myself playing keys. Why did I not feel confident? Because like Anthony mentioned, you know, I saw where some other guys that was my age were. I saw where they were, and I'm like, man, like, I just want to play like this. Like, I want to be able to do this. But to me, that became an insecurity because it's like, man, like, I got a little down because I'm like, man, like, if I'm, you know, I'm working, I'm putting in work, I'm practicing. And it's just like when I first started for like probably first couple years, first 3 years, maybe. And I was just practicing. And I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere. Like, and then I was thinking like, man, it was guys younger than me, like killing. And I'm like, man, like, how do I deal with stuff like this? And it wasn't to, it dawned on me to like you said in here, Jay Anthony, that I fully understood my assignment. Like my assignment at that point in time was not for me to go and to play all of the fancy chords. It wasn't, but it was for me to learn and to be in those situations so that when I do become, when I do understand the different chords and different theory with music, that I can, you know, be able to play these certain things. And I can say, okay, cool. I'm not insecure no more because now God has already affirmed like my assignment. He said, okay, cool. You was here at one point, but now, you know, after all your practicing and all your suffering long before it was time for you to really, really play, like, I got you now. Like, and then I think another thing for us to affirm our insecurity, like to deal with it, is to have somebody that says, like, I got you. Like, all right, cool. Like, cool. You lack confidence. I once lacked confidence. Let's get through it together. This is how I did it, or this how you should do it. That type of thing. So
That's good. Somebody else want to add to it?
No, I fully agree. Also from a musical perspective as well. When I first started, I think that was when Taylor left for college. So that's when I really started singing. When my sister Taylor, if y'all don't know Taylor, Taylor is she can sing, but she when she left for college, we needed another singer, you know, here at the church, another lead singer. And that's when I really took singing, you know, seriously. And something I still even some deal with, you know, very minuscule now, but I used to deal with very heavily was, why don't people call me to sing? They call me for everything else. They call me for graphics. They call me to speak. They call me, you know, to do other things, but I don't get called to sing solo at least. And why? And one time, you know, I came to the realization, kind of like you said, Carsey, that was not my purpose. My purpose was not to sing the Star Spangled Banner at all these events. My purpose was not to be, you know, that singer that everybody just goes to, even though I can sing. My purpose was to encourage people in the house of the Lord. My purpose was to encourage people even out of the house of the Lord with my voice. I don't have one of those, what's it called? The melodic voices, you know, that you just love listening to, like Anita Wilson or Whitney Houston or one of those. I have a very rough voice. A voice is meant to drive. That's what I am made to do. And when I realized that, I started to sing better. I started to give my gift back to God better. And so yeah, I fully what you said, Carsey, I fully understood. I fully see. I saw that in my own self.
I'm gonna piggyback on what you guys said. Definitely on. I think Carsey said it. Putting yourself in situations that make you uncomfortable. Um, like I said, I'm a musician, so before I met Carsey, I was playing at a church, but I was going off to college, so it was a choir. It was a choir at my college, NIU choir, and I hit up Carsey. I'm like, "Hey, is there any room for me?" He was like, "Yeah, man, come do it." And then I wasn't trying to sign up to be no MD. I just wanted to come and fellowship and just play and try to grow. But I was never in a situation where I was over something. My mom told me I was always a leader. I understand that, but I was never put in a position to be over something like that. And I didn't feel confident enough to do that. But when I got in those uncomfortable situations, things start opening up. Favorite Friday start going places, and just different things like that. And I just feel like when you put yourself in those situations, they might be uncomfortable, but you start to see that progress. And then with things like that, I think certain people have to change their habits. I just started reading this book called Atomic Habits, and it was talking about how people only think about the outcome, but they don't think about how they're going to get to the outcome. So people have failed so much where they only think about, I'm gonna fail. So then you're telling yourself, you already put yourself in that category where you're gonna fail and you're not gonna get to where you want to go. But I feel like people have to learn how to write the process down, and then when they figure out a stable process, I feel like after that will start building up their confidence and building up different insecurities, because at that point you're just certain habits you're making yourself fail because you're telling yourself you're going to fail, if that makes sense. So yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. So because this is getting real, revivalist and churchy, let's switch it up. Let's talk about income, and let's talk about money and making money as a man, right? What do you think we're still living in the old days where the men provide everything? Should we switch it up? I saw a post about 50-50 and 75, or what do you think? What do you think? Are you okay with your lady making more money than you? Does that make
Okay,
you
I'm gonna go because I can talk about this all day. Now I'm okay with my lady making more money than me. That's not a problem for me. However, I was raised and I have a wonderful father who takes care of everything. And not because my mom can't help. She has a great job too. However, that's just how he wants to do it. And that's how I would like to do it in my family. Now, that whole 50-50 conversation, I'm gonna keep my mouth on for that. I'm gonna just say I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. The time when I show love to people, especially this is personal to me, I'll just pay for it. I'd rather just pay for it and let them keep their stuff and use their money how they want to do it. I got you covered. Baby, I got you covered. That's personally just me. Do I think it has to be like that in every situation? No, because everyone's situation is different. But as for me in my house, that's how it's gonna be.
Does it make you less than a man if you don't?
Does it make me less than a man?
Let me say this, because see, this is good, because back in the day, the way, I love you by, again, my actions, right? I put food on your table, clothes on your back, right? Do you think in our minds, if we don't cover the bill, if we don't pay for everything, we feel less than a man? Do you think that's in our mind? Go ahead.
I think for some men they do. that's another insecurity. You know, for particular to them. I think, and I've seen it a lot through within other peers that I have, other friends that I have. For me personally, no, that I wouldn't say that applies to me, because first, that's not what makes you a man. Your skill at your skill at bringing money, and that's not necessarily what makes you a man. But like I think it was Ivan said, we have to shift our focus. Just because we've been saying this, you know, within our society, for for the longest, doesn't necessarily make it true or right. Just because that's what we have been doing. But I will say that notion though gives off the impression that you're less than a man if you can't do X, Y, and Z.
So let me just read this comment.
Mm-hmm.
J. Anthony Young said, "As a man, I'm more than a check I bring in."
Thank you, J. Anthony.
Yeah,
I'm more than a check I bring in. But why is it that? And I'm not saying we do it, right? But maybe you do. Maybe I do. We ball out, but we don't really have money in the bank. I can't hear nobody. See, I want God and stuff. I'm with the Lord, but we got to talk about some real issues.
Man, real stuff.
Go ahead,
Ivan.
I'm gonna tell you, like who told me, right? Cash rules everything around me. So we would much rather, again, we have to shift our focus. We live in a world now where it's all about what you see is what you get. So if you look like you got it, I'm gonna assume that you have it, whether you actually have it or not. So we need to start trying to go back to building generational wealth, something that our children can have and our children's children can have, and so on and so forth. Something that can actually speak volumes long after I'm gone. Something that can help me submit my legacy long after I'm gone. So yeah, looking like you have it is one thing, but actually having it in the bank, we have to learn to stop spending every dime that we get. My dad taught me this at a young age. Since Daniel plugged his, y'all mind if I plug mine? I started working for my family business, the D.L. Perkins and Sons Funeral Home, serving the greater Chicagoland area. Serving the greater Chicagoland area. I started working at 13 years old. In the first couple of maybe the first year or 2 years that I was working, my father would deposit my paycheck into a savings account, because at 13 and 14 years old, what is a 13 or 14-year-old really for to do with his money except, kind of blow it? So when I became a junior or senior in high school, it's time to go on prom. I was able to fund most of my own prom because it was instilled in me beforehand to save this money. So I feel like we have to go back to saving, to save and not really I don't have to wear polo everything. I don't have to be swagged out every time I step into the building, because guess what? I would much rather come in a regular t-shirt and some jeans than come in Gucci'd out and I gotta take the bus home. Gotta take the bus home. You just said.
I'm definitely with you on the whole, just financial literacy piece. There was one point, when I was in high school, in college, or probably my freshman year of college, maybe probably in high school. I just used to blow money. I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to blow money. When Jordans used to come out, I used to get every Jordan possible, right? And my parents would always say, "Carsey, save you some money. And then it would be stuff like, I need 4 new tires. Can't get them. I can't get the tires because guess what? I ain't got no money because I done spent them all on mics. And so the whole financial literacy thing, I kind of learned it early too. My parents had it in me early, but I didn't put enough pressure on myself. Hey, you need to save money. Now, it wasn't until I got to college that I had to save money, because my freshman year of college, I didn't have a car in college my freshman year, right? And so I was taking the bus or Ubers or different things like that And like I was funding my own food. Like I had to get groceries, which meant that I had to be smarter about the money I spent. I couldn't buy all the shoes I wanted to. I couldn't. And so like today, so me, like I feel like today, like, and Richard, I'm going back to your original question when you was talking about the whole 50-50 and the women thing. Like, and my wife knows this too. Like when I was me and her were first dating, I felt like every time I took her out, I had to pay. Now, like I said, I don't know what works for you, but it worked for me clearly, right? Because I'm married, right? All right. So I feel like for me,
Go ahead.
I feel like for me it worked. Like my dad, like always told me, like, son, you are the provider for the family, right? And I said I didn't have a family then, but that was always instilled in me, like, okay, cool. If I ask my wife out or my girlfriend at the time, I say, okay, cool. I'm going to pay. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that because I got it, but I'm saying that because that's just what was instilled in me. Now, the whole 50-50 thing, now I feel like this. Go with what works for you. Go with what works for you, because what a 50-50 relationship or like a whole monetary thing in a relationship may work for another couple. You know, it may not work for me. It may not work for Ivan. It may not work for Redaniel. It may not work for Ant. It may not work for Richard. It may not work. But I always say, like, go with what works for you, but be smart in the process. Like, okay, cool. Like, for me, and this is just me personally, I feel like I have to be the provider for my house. That's me. So when something messes up or a big bill come in, I feel like I'm obligated to do that. Now that, like I said, this is what I was taught. This is what I saw growing up. I saw my dad provide for my family. I saw my dad provide for me and my siblings and my mom. I saw that. So when I got older, that's what I felt like I had to do. But again, you go with what works for you. All right. Now, I see Jay Anthony just dropped a
Somebody else
question.
want to chime in?
Hey, did y'all just see the question he just dropped?
That's a good question right there.
What do you do when you can't provide?
You lean on the one who can.
Yes, sir.
Look, when you can't provide, well, nowadays, should nobody not be able to provide? They got Uber.
No, for real.
DoorDash, yeah.
DoorDash.
Cash out instantly.
Instacart. Pick you one. Pick you one. All right.
So it was a story about this. I guess is a guy who worked at I think it was like McDonald's or whatever. And a lady walked in. She walked in and they had a conversation. And she said, "Man, you're smart. What are you doing working here?" He said, "Well, I just need to provide. You know, I got bills to pay." She said, "Well, I want you to quit this job." Well, they started talking for a little bit. He quit his job and she showed him how to make $1 million. And they made like their first $1 million in like 6 months. Here's my question for some of the ladies in the chat. Would you have even given that brother a chance if he tried to talk to you and he worked at McDonald's?
Sheesh. Sheesh.
My God.
Because we're talking about providing, and sometimes that great man doesn't get that chance because he doesn't have what Ray got. He's not putting up in with, you know. So I said no. Who else? No.
Just flat out no.
God.
Hey.
Dang, y'all, Mike, you not giving him a chance?
Just flat no explanation, nothing. Just flat.
And then
Mariah said she would.
Said she would.
Mother Ruth. My God.
Wow. To me, it
no.
No. Wow. Okay. Why, y'all? But why?
No. I got to for them too. Don't trip.
She said absolutely.
He ain't. Absolutely.
On the clock.
Fraternization on the clock is very unprofessional.
Catch me a break.
Yes, he's a BMW. Black man working. Go ahead, mama.
Mm-hmm.
I'll instantly compare what I make in a year.
So ladies, he can't be like a diamond in the rough or something like that.
Exactly. Wait,
just need a little polishing.
Mia said, I would instantly compare what I make in a year to what he makes. That's pressure automatically on that brother, because maybe he could not get that certain job, right?
My God.
And I think that's why so many men ball out or try to act like they have much, because some men don't get that fair chance, right?
Man.
Because you may have a good man that may not make a lot of money yet, but then you may have some bum dude that look all right on the inside, but he's a terrible person. And that's why I think we see a lot of failed relationships, because here it is. Some women won't give a man a chance at McDonald's, but they will want the man to give them a chance if they work at McDonald's. Yep. How is that fair? Y'all talk to me in the comments.
Go ahead, Ray.
On here, but we got to get real tonight. We got to get real tonight.
How that's not fair. I completely understand that. How do I say this? But I would say that's more of a. I wouldn't say that's just how do I put the Holy Ghost? How do I put this? Women are, especially in the Black community, they
take your time.
They're not raised to. Let me not say they're not raised. That is, society doesn't tell them that they are the ones who have to have a PhD, be the doctor, the lawyer, have a professional degree, whatever. They're not the ones that has to be all bagged out. What if he has a nice approach? Okay, Megan. But I see how it's unfair. I wouldn't make that compare that I wouldn't make that point. I don't know, because that's a whole lot to unpack right there.
Man, look, let's unpack it. Man.
Okay, you want to unpack it? Okay.
This is the thing.
Let's unpack it.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing.
He working though.
He's but
he's working.
So why is it that the man need to make sure he works? I don't know, for some Fortune 500 company, but the girl that may work at Burger King, she look good, and she would want the man to approach her. But if it was flipped, it's like, nah, child, he ain't making enough money for me.
Because the man is still, regardless of the occupation, is still seen as the provider.
Is that pressure though? That's
yes.
pressure.
Yes, I'm agreeing with you. There's unnecessary pressure, because like now you feel like, oh dang, like my girl don't like it that I work at McDonald's. You feel me? So in order for me to kind of, just frankly speaking, in order for me to kind of keep her happy, let me stop working at McDonald's. Let me try to find something else better to do. And so now you done lost your job at Mickey D's. You're not working at all for maybe a week or two. So that's more pressure on you, because now you didn't bag shawty when you were serving at the drive-thru. Now you can't afford to keep her at all. So because you have unrealistic unrealistic expectation, this added pressure for no reason.
But see, I agree with to me, I wouldn't be talking to no girl that worked at McDonald's anyway.
Man, look, I'm not trying to hear none of that. Y'all know if a
Beyonce working at McDonald's for Daniel, you not folding?
If a girl was
working
bad,
at McDonald's,
y'all. If a girl was bad and she worked at McDonald's,
I am.
Y'all will talk to her.
Man, you ain't talking to her if she smell like patties.
No. I'm saying as somebody who worked at McDonald's. I wasn't looking at none of them girls I worked with.
Look, if it was a girl that looked good and she worked at a fast food place, y'all would talk to her. I would.
But this is the thing, though. We forget about a person. We are all still becoming. So sometimes we miss out on our blessing because of our personal preference. I didn't even want to preach tonight, but it just that person that work at McDonald's in the next 5 years, because if you actually connect with that person, your mindset and their mindset, y'all connect together, y'all can actually have something. But we miss out on that person who could be for us, and then we get in a lousy relationship, and then we complain about the person we're with, or we complain about this person, did me wrong because we didn't give a person a fair chance because of what's on the outside or and I think it's because of what our friends are thinking. Girl, you talking to him? He work at Burger King.
I agree 100%.
Most definitely.
I agree. That's a big factor because, ladies, if one of your friends were talking to a man that worked at any fast food restaurant, you would be treating her. Honestly, I know that for a fact. Look, Mia said, hold on, what did she say? I just seen something she said. She said, hold on, where's it at? I know what kind of woman I am. I have my own everything. I get up and work hard for everything I have. If McDonald's is the best you can do, it's not trying hard enough. But how do you know that? Who are we to judge that? Like, how do we know that?
And most jobs want you to have like 8 years experience at 18 years old. So how you supposed to, come out working for a Fortune 500 company at 18, 20, 21 years old?
Y'all, hold on. I got something. I got something, y'all. Look, I want to say this. So look, they said that McDonald's employees now are making $17 to $20 an hour based on location. No, look. That's what I'm getting somewhere with it.
Oh wow!
They say this says I'm reading the article. This is current. They're making $17 to $20 an hour, and that is just entry level. That's entry level. They said this says right here, and I'm just reading off here now. It says as you move up, that the pay can go from 17 to 20 to 22 to $25 an hour. That's good money.
Let me read this comment though.
Go ahead.
Mia said, for example, the post office, this has been her occupation since she was 18, she's 23, right? Let me say something. We talk about the man providing or being the provider, right? Being the provider. How is it that when the man is showing that I'm willing to work wherever to get the job done, that person gets turned down? Like, I think that's part of providing. Like, you may not everybody can't go to work with a suit on, right? And a briefcase. So if you have a hat and a spatula in your hand, but you're literally grinding to provide, why can't you two get together with what you know and what he knows to build this legacy? And honestly, when we talk about legacy and generational, it's terrible in the black community. Because we pick and choose what we want, which is fine, but we also have to deal with the consequences that come with it.
Man.
Them people, and I gotta say this because it's just in me. Jesus was in front of them, but they didn't recognize him because he didn't come as the king they were looking for. And they missed out. So here's my question, ladies and men. Have you missed out?
Have I missed out? I tell you right now, no, I ain't found it yet. Y'all ain't.
You haven't found her, or did you walk past her?
No, I haven't found. I can promise you that.
It was a question about the ring. I think somebody said, "Do you think women say yes based on the size of the ring?"
That was Marty. I think.
I'm not
Marty, yeah.
Do you say yes to marriage because of the ring they see in excitement and emotions, or because of love they have for the guy?
I would say no, because I done seen plenty of videos of women telling these dudes no, regardless of size, ring size, occupation, whatever the reason was. Plenty of women have rejected marriage proposals publicly to these young men. So I feel like for some people, it don't matter how excited they ought to be proposed to. If they're not rocking with you, they not rocking with you regardless. It's just a no, doc.
Ladies, if you love that man, it don't matter what size ring he give you.
They lying.
Don't matter. I'm gonna tell y'all this, man. When I proposed to Kyra and I proposed to her, y'all, I was one of the most nervous days of my life. And then this was at the time when like everything was trending, like when the women was proposing and then they were saying no publicly. I'm just like, man, look, don't you say no to me on this video. And we was live and all of this stuff. And so for me, that was one of the most nervous days of my life. So for me, Richard, to your other question, no, I don't feel like I missed out. I feel like I got it. I got my prize.
Good.
I got
and
my
just
prize.
to piggyback off Carsey came to work playing for a funeral the day he got engaged, and he was like, he was shaking, he was nervous, and I didn't know what was going on. I told my old man, I said, I think Carsey gonna propose to Kyra tonight. He said, why you say that? I said, he's shaking and nervous and he trembling.
Oh.
He don't seem like himself. He
Man,
don't seem like himself.
The most nervous day of my life. Oh man. Marty said that's what I'm getting to. A lot of women say I better have a rock. Ladies, what y'all say? Y'all feel like y'all gotta have a rock?
Hey, better question. Would you rather have a rock or would you ever be like stable after that? Because would you rather your man break his bank to put a materialistic thing on your finger, or would you rather have a house?
That's a good question.
Because I think Takira, you wanted a dog, right, Carsey? Yeah. And Takira told you get our house.
She said buy a house and I get my big dog.
Y'all look quiet in the chat now. Oh no.
Yeah, they quiet now. The ladies are quiet. Ladies, y'all quiet, real quiet now.
Exposed. House me.
Upset.
Mariah said house me.
House me.
House.
Okay.
Let's talk about the generational wealth.
Right.
Get out these apartments.
Man. See, now I'm not saying it needs to be 15K, but I think it should at least look nice.
But that's subjective.
Why you say that?
Look, any ring could look nice. I worked at an advertising agency last semester, and with some of the some white folk, and over in their community, they get married right out of college. Not saying we don't, but they were walking the stage. They walked the stage 2 weeks ago. They're walking down the aisle the week after. And a couple of the girls I worked with, they had been engaged too, and I saw their rings. They had these itty bitty rings on, but they looked nice. They looked really nice, but the rock was small, but it looked really nice. So I mean, that's why I'm saying that's subjective. I mean, nice. That's different to everybody.
Now Mother Maddie.
Go ahead, Richard. Go ahead.
My husband didn't have a ring.
Well,
come on.
And it's 30 years, almost 30 years. And we got brothers buying rocks, and they 6 months in divorce, or
it is over.
10 years.
Annulments.
What's going on with that? We just living in a different generation.
I think it's also like, I think we glorify the wedding, the ceremony itself, and not so much the act of marriage and like what a real commitment that is. Because you can have a gorgeous wedding ceremony, gorgeous honeymoon, but when you get back from Cancun to Jamaica, what are you and your spouse going back to? So like we glorify the ceremony and the honeymoon, but can we again shift our focus to what's down the line gonna be more beneficial?
I think it costs more to get a divorce, huh? Depending on the relationship.
Probably about the same.
You know what I'm saying though? It's
man.
My God.
God.
So, Carsey, you said I got my one. One. What feelings did you have? Like when people say when you know, right? You think it's a different feeling for each guy, or when literally
No, so like for me, like I knew, like I literally knew. I literally when I was in college, me and Kyra met in college or whatever. So she was singing in the choir at Illinois State. And we had always been friends since her freshman year, my sophomore year. So each year our schools would always have a workshop. And so the choirs, so Illinois State would come to us in the
Come on,
spring.
love story.
They would come to us in the spring, and then we would go to them in the fall. And so, like I said, me and Kyra have been friends for a long time. Like we were just friends for a long time. And so I knew when I met her that it was just something. Couldn't put my hand on it at first. I said, man, it's something about it. Like I don't know what it is. So I just couldn't shake it. Like from when we met, CJ, don't start. CJ out here talking about workshop. Yes, CJ. So man, it was just something about it that I just could not shake at the moment. And so I remember one time, and this is a little story. I remember one time we were at workshop and she went and bought me some Portillo's. Now I never told her what to get me, but she went in and she got me a big beef with the sausage and the Italian beef combo, and she got it dipped with mozzarella cheese and mixed peppers and a large lemonade and a cake. And so for me, this was something
I got a question.
That was something early that I thought about. Go ahead.
Is that when you started doing that thing on Instagram where you make all them noises looking at the book?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. So that was back in the day. So yeah. So she did that. She got me that. And so man, I'm like, okay, cool. So okay, maybe she just kind of just connected. Maybe it was a guess. So by then we just friends. And so the Lord ended up fixing it to where she ended up at NIU.
My God.
And I said, Lord, I know you got to be kidding me right now. And so ended up at NIU and we kicked it off. We was friends and all of that good stuff. We had a really good friendship. And I knew that I could just talk to her about anything. Like if I was just talking to one of the guys, me and her was we were just too connected. I said, no, this is crazy. Like I haven't felt like this. I hadn't felt like I felt before. And so long story short, she came to NIU and we began to date. We dated and I just found out that we had so many things in common. Now, not a lot of things in common. Let me say that. We didn't have a lot of things in common, but we had a connection when it came to like conversation and all of that good stuff. And so it dawned on me one day when I was on the campus. And I'm like, man, I called my dad and I was telling him, like, Dad, like, it's this girl and I'm feeling her. Like, I don't think I've ever felt a girl like this before. I'm feeling her, right? And so he like, okay, well, take your time and get to know her, which I did. I took my time, got to know her. And one day, matter of fact, it was the day before her birthday. And I said, you know what? I think I'm about to make her my girl tomorrow. This is the day before her birthday. That night. And we ended up going to Cooper's Hawk. And on the way to Cooper's Hawk, I'm in my head. I'm like, man, no, I don't think I should do this right now. I don't think I should do this. We got to the table, whatever we eating and all that good stuff. And it hit me again. Like, you need to make her your girl right now. So that's what I did. I made her my girl. We dated, all of that good stuff. Yeah. And so we were dating. And man, when I tell y'all, like, smooth, no issues, like, me and Kyra, I could probably count on like one hand how many times we probably had an argument. Like, and that's even now in like with us being married.
My God.
We didn't have a lot of arguments. We was just connected, like mentally, she was just connected. And then like this one day, I was trying like at one point I was like second guessing, like, man, did I make this move too fast? And then one day I was in my apartment, and man, I was down. I was just down. I hadn't told nobody about me being down. Nothing. I was down, man, and I knew that morning I had to get up. I had a big project due for my student teaching and for my degree, so I can get my degree. And she texted me, man, y'all. I never told her nothing about anything that was going on. She texted me that morning and was like, "Hey, I love you. I'm praying for you. you were on my mind. Whatever you dealing with right now, God's got you. I still got the message to this day. She said that to me, and I'm like, yeah, this it. This it. Man, y'all, I hadn't told her nothing. I never told her how I was feeling. She hit me up. So I knew then, I'm like, man, maybe we connected in more ways than not. And so long story short, we dated. I told my dad, I said, Dad, I think I want to marry her. My dad, he like, son, pray about it. You know, my dad gave me the churchy answer. He like, son, pray about it. Talk to the Lord. Talk to the Lord about it and see what he say. And so he like, so I'm like, okay, cool. I said, I called my dad probably back like probably 3 days after. And I'm like, Dad, it is on me heavy. I got to do it. Like, I got to do it. So then that's when he was like, okay, well, when you come home, we're going to go ring shopping. And so, man, after that, we went ring shopping and I went and proposed. And so that's kind of how it went for us, man. I just knew, man, we were connected, man. And guys that are dating right now and looking to marry a lady one day, y'all make sure y'all connected, man. Not only spiritually, like we can talk about the churchy stuff all day, all of the shouting and y'all running to the front, grabbing each other, shouting. That don't mean y'all connected. I'm gonna be honest. Don't mean you connected just because you run to the front and shout and y'all grabbing on each other and y'all crying out, wailing and like all of that stuff in the sanctuary. That don't mean you connected. All right. Now it take a different type of woman to connect with you mentally. Right? You got to make sure you connected mentally and of course spiritually. Got to be connected spiritually because guess what? If I feel like if my wife wasn't connected spiritually, like I don't feel like we would be together. But like we are connected spiritually. And so for me, like I said, all of you who are dating right now, inspired, like or you aspire to date a lady, like think about these things. Like don't be so quick. Yeah, she may have a nice body, all this good stuff. You know, we be so quick to, dang, she thick. All right, cool. But is she smart? Like is she like where's she at mentally? What's that? Like where's she at mentally? Where's she at mentally? I mean, she could be the thickest thing out here. That don't mean nothing. If she is not connected mentally, if she is not somebody that you see yourself growing with. I saw myself early growing with Kyra. I saw that. And so for me, that's the advice I got, y'all. That's the advice I got, y'all, because I'm the only married one on here. So that's the advice I got. So ladies, y'all got work to do too. I ain't gonna just say the fellas, ladies, y'all got work to do too. All right, I'm done.
Let's give it up for the Favorite Friday Marriage Ministry.
Yes, sir. Listen, I have a few more questions, but if you all have some questions, I want to. You talked about growing. So I want to ask this question that's on my iPad. What kind of improvement would you like to see or implement in your life to help contribute toward a better generation for men? I think this is where we have to be transparent. We have to be transparent because whether we know it or not, we are role models, right? A good role model or a bad role model. And so what improvement, what do we want to see? What do we want? What can we improve in? I would go and say for me, I move fast, right? I'm learning to breathe, since like I said, therapy session, whatever. You have to breathe, you have to pause, you have to take time to think, number one, because if you don't, you will get frustrated. And as a consequence of that frustration, you can also frustrate other people, right? I give you just an example. We were getting ready to have youth church. And because I interned, I was cool with some of the guys that work, but I'm like, I'm not an intern no more. Like, I'm the youth pastor, and we have church in 30 minutes. And I'm like, the sound isn't right. And the guy was saying, man, you don't hear it? I said, you're listening from back there. I said, it's not right up here. But he kept playing, and I found myself literally like, you know what? I got to preach. I'm not going to deal with this. But I was so frustrated that I literally prayed all the way up to the time it was time for me to preach. And so I'm learning to pause and think things through, because I don't want to allow frustration or anger to push people, or to even, keep me from where God wants to take me. Because part of going to a different level, you have to be level-headed, right? That was a tweet from heaven. You have to make sure you have your mind. You have to make sure you're sane. And I think, we have a lot of angry young men. Angry young men, men who, sometimes we don't know how to deal with our emotions. We don't know how to express ourselves unless it's in a forceful way, right? And so I think that's one way we can help the next generation, to let them know that it's okay to pause. It's okay to cry, right? It's okay to express yourself. But it's also okay to be nice, because it doesn't make you a punk. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a great way to really work on anger, work on frustration. So that's one way I would bring to the table. Somebody else want to add one?
I'll say I'm learning to live. I'm a PK, and that life, for whatever reason, church people put a lot of emphasis on who I am, and I'm not even in the Bible. Only person in the Bible is my dad. And so, growing up, I and even I still deal with this today. I always in the back of my mind, I'm like, I can't do this because somebody at church or somebody in the church community is gonna say this, that, and third about me being in a certain area, or me being around certain people, or me going to wherever. And it's in the long term, I'm a senior in college, getting ready to start my senior year. I don't want to say I've missed out, but I've completely isolated myself from a lot of people, simply because I don't want to be in some of the areas they inhabit, because I don't want any bad reflection on my dad's ministry or on my own. And I've been teaching myself, reteaching myself that is it. The problem isn't with me, because I'm not over there, drinking and partying and doing whatever. Maybe I'm just with some people who do that, and they're having a good time, and I'm just with them. And that speaks to the spiritual maturity of those church folk talking about it. Because A, how you know? How did you know? Who told you? And then B, if you spiritually mature people understand that, even though that this is, let's say, the pastor's son, or the child of whomever, whatever position, we got all these names in the body of Christ for whatever reason. They understand that you should be able to understand that that's not a bad reflection on the person or the man or woman of God. That's just their child being human, going and learning some things. So that's one thing I'm teaching myself, and that's one thing I'm going to, when I in some time now. I'm not having no kids soon, but when I do have kids, and with my nieces and nephews, helping them to understand that they can, it's okay to experience some things outside of sin, and to be in some areas, to see what it's like, and it's not going to reflect badly on their aunties and uncles and their grandfather.
Richard, state your question again.
The new one? Oh,
the
one about what kind of improvements would you like to see in yourself to help the next generation?
Okay, so for me, kind of what Richard was saying, like to just slow down. My wife often talks to me about this because I have 1,000 things going on. She just be like, slow down and do some things that you enjoy. right? So for me, like I told y'all before, like I enjoy playing basketball. I enjoy that. Like if it's and I'm talking beyond music. So no music, no church, no ministry, none of that stuff. I'm talking just straight real life. So me, I like to go out with my friends. I like to go out with family. I like to go out and indulge in a big old pizza. I like that type of stuff. Like, right? I like to go and so I like those different things. Like I enjoy being with my family. I like going to the zoo. Like I don't know about y'all, but I like going to the zoo. I like going to like the aquariums. Like I like doing stuff like that. I like going downtown and riding bikes. I like that type of stuff, right? And so for me, I'm trying to find time. Like a tough thing for me is like finding time to do those things because it's like I got rehearsal here. I gotta go play for this service here. I gotta go do this here. But like I never make time for Carsey. Right. So that's something that I've struggled with. And I'm getting better at. I'm trying to make time for Carsey to do something that I enjoy.
Amen.
So that's one of those things like that's one of those things that I just feel like that I gotta work on. And so man, I'm that's one of the biggest things that I know for sure that I gotta do better at and just enjoying, like you said, Daniel, man, enjoying life. It's more to life than church, y'all. I gotta let y'all know that. Like I feel like not enough people say that. It's more than life. It's more to life than church. All right. Guess what? The same concert you went to Friday, there's gonna be another one next Friday. So guess what? You ain't gotta drain yourself or kill yourself and feel like I gotta go to every. Like no, it will be there. Now, and this is the last thing. Now, if the reality really hit, now how do I say this? You don't have to be in the church building to be.
Nope.
Y'all get where I'm going, okay? All right. If the church is really in you, you don't need to be at the church building. All right. And so I would say this, like, man, let's continue to just think about life outside of ministry.
Yeah.
Think about life. There's so much more out here, y'all. There's so much more. So much more. Yeah, I'm done.
Thing I think that I can work on and a lot more other men is reacting to a disappointment. I feel like a lot of young men just don't know how to react to certain things, and then that's when that turns into something that they could avoid it. Like you can cry, you can cry, but don't cry too long. You know what I'm saying? Like some men just shut down and just they just leave it alone. So I think that's one thing I can work on. I'm doing a lot better, but I just feel like that's just one thing I can work on for sure.
That's good, Ant.
You can cry, man. You heard Ant? You can cry.
That's okay. Right, y'all. Cry. Let that
so
water spill out your eyes. Let it fall.
It's okay.
Let it rain.
I don't know how long you want to be on here, but I do have one more question.
We got like 5 minutes.
I bet we talk about life. We talked about life. We talked about relationships. We talked about just how hard it can be being a Black man. All of us, we're in our 20s, right? 20s. Your perspective of life and the people in your life. What can we do as men to show them that we appreciate them, that we don't take the people around us for granted? We know life is short. I mean, we look at the shooting. You said, Ivan, that the students weren't even in the school system or went back to school for a year. This was their last week of school in Texas. Like they got out today. And, so we know that anything can happen. How can we appreciate the people we love every single day like it's our last? How can we do that? And you can talk in the chat too. You can talk in the chat, ladies, men, if you're watching. But how can we do that?
One thing I try to do, I try to tell people that I appreciate them, that I love them, as much as I can. With my friends as well. Carson probably didn't heard me say this, and I know Megan. I could just talking to Megan today, right before I get off of FaceTime. I say I love you, and that those phrases. I mean, I don't say them, just all willy nilly, but I say it to those people that I do love. And even like with my family, we like in the RV house, so we don't just go around saying, "Oh, I love you." Like we just didn't do that. And now that is something, especially after my goddaughter Layla was born. I don't know. I think when that's Taylor and Chavez's newborn they just had a couple months ago. She's 2 months. And ever since she was born, I've taken a new perspective on life, and I view things a whole lot differently. And I think maybe because it is my first godchild. But I really try to let those people know. Even like with Abigail, I have 6 siblings, but she's the youngest, and we have almost a 10-year age gap between me and Abigail. And so she's very far removed from the childhood me and my siblings, my older siblings, lived. And sometimes I can tell she feels very like almost disconnected, if you will, because she's growing up now and we're all grown. I mean, for Pete's sake, Jennifer and Taylor, they married. They're not even at the family house anymore. And so one thing I try to do with her, I try every time I can. Actually, matter of fact, when I leave here and go home, I'm gonna just go lay in her room. We're gonna watch TV, just chill and talk. And so yeah, I tried to really show that I care for people more than what they care for people more than just what they bring to the table.
I think growing up, there was a stigma on how we couldn't really necessarily tell your friends or like people who weren't family that you love them or that you care about them, that you appreciate them. But I think now we've moved past that because we know tomorrow isn't promised. Anything can happen in any given moment. Tell your people, honestly, give people their flowers so they can smell them. So like, I appreciate people who do go the extra mile, who don't mind coming and do X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna use Carsey and even Ann as an example. I asked them to come play for funerals a couple times out of the month. And every time they do it, they get paid for what they do, but it's a thank you because they didn't have to do it. They didn't have to make time out of their busy schedule. I think Pastor Barnes was talking one day, and he said he asked his children to do something on the Saturday. And they told him, well, we got to check with Perkins and them first to see what they got going on first. And then we can kind of let you know how they going to look. I don't take those things for granted because people could easily say, nah, forget that, yada, yada, yada. But you have to let people know, like, you appreciate that they make time for you or like that they make time for what it is that you have going on. We appreciate that Carsey is bringing this idea and is leading this thing because he could be doing anything else. He could be doing anything else in the world, but he's doing this. He's leading this community of creatives, and we appreciate that. So like telling your people, I appreciate that because literally, he does a good job at this. The platform isn't about him. It's not about him. But like in literally there is a community inside of Favorite Friday. He promotes he promotes Rick Daniel and his graphic design. Alex has the car wash business. So it's yes, he's the leader, but it's not necessarily it's not I can't say always, it's majority of the time not even about him, but it's just letting those people around you that you appreciate them. They're like, I love you, and there's nothing that I won't do for you. Love isn't love until it's given away. It's literally an action word. So I feel like just reminding your people, hey man, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. I'm with you and with Daniel. man, just telling everybody that you love them, man. And for anybody or any specifically the guys, man, if ain't nobody told you that they love you, man, let me be the first to let y'all know that I do love y'all. And to all of those that are part of Favorite Friday community, y'all already know I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And this could not be without you all. This Favorite Friday community couldn't move fluently like it does without you all. The music couldn't move without Ant, right? The ministry team can't function without Ivan and Shani, and we wouldn't have like the whole advising section without Richard and Q, the media without Megan, Redaniel, and Cara, you know, and all of those persons that are a part of the choir and just a part of the community, the dancers, right? We wouldn't have all of that stuff like without people who could run it and people that would, you know, actually be committed to doing this. And the reality of it is like everybody that's a part of this community, ain't nobody getting paid, right? Nobody's getting paid, but the reality of it is people are still spending their time coming out to be a part of an awesome movement. And so for me, man, Richard, I think, man, if we tell more people, like you all have stated, tell more people that we appreciate them, that we love them, and check in on them.
Yeah.
I try my best to send some messages every now and then, every other week, to just check in on people. Hey, hope all is well. Pray you're doing well. All of those different things, man. To just get a wellness check, man. And just feel like, okay, cool. Are you okay? You know, how's everything going? How's your family? All of these different things help. And those things, like I had somebody text me the other day, and say that, man, you don't know the message that you sent me really gave me the push that I needed. And all I said was, hey, just checking in on you. Hope all is well. Keep doing what it is you've been called to do. And just simple things like that. You never know how many things can just turn the person's day around from you just checking in on them. Checking in on them and like I think that we as men got to continue to check in on our brothers. I know all of us are busy, but it don't hurt to send a message. You know, we have our phones all day anyway. So it's nothing for us to just send a message and say, hey, bro, just checking in on you. How's everything? Let's go get something to eat. Like whatever the case may be, let's go work out. Let's go, you know, whatever the case may be. Just checking in on each other and just being able to show you appreciation, as it already has been stated.
Cool. Well, that's it for me. I think that's a great this is a great opportunity to dismiss. Of course, it's back in your hands, but I really enjoyed this conversation. I think it's needed. And I think we should do this even if we do it in private. You know, good thing about hybrid, we don't always have to be in the same city to connect. We can still be present, and in each other's presence virtually. And so I enjoy it, man. I love you guys. Continue to keep grinding. I'm all for the black man. You know, I know I gotta love everybody, but I love my black people. I went to HBCU. That's all I know. I love my black people, man. So whatever I can do, let's continue to connect however we can. Because when I go up, y'all go up. When y'all go up, I go up, because we're in this thing together. So leader, it's back in your hands, man.
All right, man. Let me say thank you to y'all. Give it up for our favorite Friday, fellas, y'all. This is a portion of the leadership team that makes everything happen with the Favorite Friday, the daily operations of Favorite Friday, from our graphics to advising to our ministry team to our music. These are the guys that make it happen, y'all. I got to say shout out to them, y'all. And look, for any guy that's been watching, look, if you ever need someone to talk to, you have 5 guys right here, plus a few more that you can reach out to. We're here. All right. For those of you that may have questions about different things, if I may not have the answer, I got 4 to 5 other brothers that may have an answer for you. If they don't know the answer, one of us will figure it out. All right. And y'all just know that y'all are not alone in this walk. Y'all are not alone, y'all. We in this thing together, y'all. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep fighting. All right. Last thing, guys, do y'all have any last comments to give a guy that may have been watching? Y'all have any last comments or anything?
Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself.
We got to do this again. We got to do this again.
Definitely.
This one long enough.
Man.
Nothing. Y'all been talking. I don't need to say nothing.
I don't need to say nothing. I'm gonna start singing in a minute.
Right, cool. So, for those of you who are watching, y'all meet us for our favorite Friday with the fellas experience tomorrow night.
Oh,
Y'all, we gonna have a good time, y'all. We got some surprises in store. And I just need y'all to be there. I need y'all to be there. We about to have a good time tomorrow. Ivan will actually be our host tomorrow. We have Dylan Patterson, who will be miming. Darius Parker will be our guest spoken word artist. We have Pastor Royce Thompson, who will be bringing the word. And then we have the Favorite Sons. Y'all ain't never heard the Favorite Sons yet, but y'all gonna hear them tomorrow. All right, so I want y'all to get ready because this thing gonna be crazy tomorrow. All right, guys. Look, love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. All right. Pray everybody have a good night. Y'all come and meet us at Antioch tomorrow. We start at 7 p.m. We start at 7 p.m. I got to tell y'all, 7 p.m. on the dot. All right, so don't be trying to slide in around 7:45. You may miss something. All right. So I love y'all. Fellas, thank y'all again, y'all. Y'all get y'all some rest tonight. Love y'all, man.
Thank you, man.
Love, man. Love y'all. Take care, family.
All right, guys.
Yep.